Welcome to the Purpose Effect, the space where we get honest, we get intentional, and we get aligned with the life God designed for us. I am Alesha with my co-host David, and our mission is simple: to help you stop floating through life and start living with purpose, clarity, and action. Hello, David. How are you, sweet friend?
I am amazing, but
Yay, it's
probably only
Friday.
a very small percent better than I was last week.
It's better. Better is something.
Better is good, right?
Yes, it is.
That's the goal. The journey is endless to be a little bit better somewhere or multiple somewheres if we're good and we can get better. If we could get that 0.5% across the board, we could get that 0.5% in our physical well-being. We get that 0.5% our emotional well-being. We can spend that extra little bit of time, that extra 0.5% on our spiritual well-being. Oh my gosh, this is the trifecta, right?
It's like the perfect storm and things begin to change.
And then we get back to that whole inertia thing where the more we change, the easier the change becomes because we look around and we see the results.
Yeah.
I had a great conversation with a colleague, a president of a company this morning, and we were talking about how, as leaders, these people in positions that we have employees that look to us. If we are working on this 0.5% and we are consciously sharing with people these especially the people who are in our sphere who see us daily, that we're on this journey and they see these improvements, especially, like me working on this tempering issue that I struggle with. Hey, we agreed to be honest here. So
Yep.
when I'm better, people notice. When this gentleman who I was talking with this morning is better, his people notice. If this other gentleman that we also know is part of our movement here, who's also a leader of a business, I don't think he owns it, he's like a president or whatever. If all three of us who work together are separately working on being better, and our ripples start intermingling, now, we've already agreed we can change our world, right? I can change my world, you can change your world. But if we can intermingle our worlds and we're all focusing on improving and changing for the benefit of ourselves and the people around us, and these overlapping ripples come together, then the true voice, the true roar of the purpose effect is going to spread like a deep undertone, like that big heavy bass that you hear when you go to the football game. You may not hear all the instruments, but that bass line underneath, it strikes you in your chest, right?
Yeah.
And that's where we're trying to go with this journey that is this voice that we all have is projected with the heavy, strong distance of a bass drum. And there's you and I, Alesha. We're out here in front. We're the drum majors. Yay! Follow us. But without that bass drum of the community, the effect is going to be much smaller. We need that solid foundation of our bass drums.
Yeah. And I think that it's such a powerful thing that to begin to recognize that as we shift, as we change, as we live, really it's small steps, but it becomes a big momentum that we start getting. But what's powerful is how it does begin to affect others. It can't not affect people. And I think that's something that is really amazing when you begin to see how it plays out. This ripple effect begins to start spreading. And that's really what we're living with, because not only are you and I hopping on podcasts and we're talking about this, but we're doing this in our everyday life. Like we're actually having conversations outside of this podcast with people that are shifting things. We are living it. Like we are extremely intentional. I think one of the things, and you and I talked about this, is a conversation that you and I have when we're visiting outside of the podcast, and I'll visit with you and say, "Hey, David, how is it going?" And you're like, "Well, at least I didn't take anybody out today." And that's been a powerful thing. And there was a shift that you experienced from just like, at work it would be hard to address things, and it may be a little explosive. So then you've shifted and you've gone, okay, I'm not gonna get that. But then we talked about, okay, now we got to take it to the next level. Like, it's always, how do we're learning more and more of how do we take it to that half percent change. How does it apply to everyday life? And so it's simple things like when we talk on the phone and I say, okay, so next time when I talk to you, you can't say that. You gotta switch it up and say, nope, it's great. And it's not avoiding what's going on, but it's just really shifting perspectives and really living it out even more powerfully.
Right. And that comes back to what we keep coming to I'm always trying to pull some equation about how your purpose with your intent add in the multiplying factor of perspective. And now, we've taken this already good little, 1 + 1 is 2 and yay. But now let's go, 2 × 2. Wait a minute, we've doubled the strength of where we were.
Mhm. Yeah.
Right. So as we continue to alter our perspective, and this is never going to stop, right? Some of the people, I have some men in my life that I respect that have done things that I just find amazing. They've led organizations and helped lots of people, and they're the most humble. They'll be the first ones to tell you, I'm working on my journey, brother. I'm polishing my ashlar, right? Because the journey is what life is about,
Mhm.
right? All of this stuff, learning to be our best selves and learning to, as you're calling it, living in purpose. And I would say, absolutely, I love those words, but in different terms, it's living your best self, right? And your best self, a lot of people would be totally content because, Alesha, you're a spectacular mom, right? You participate in some really amazing things in your community. You're active with the schools. But you've decided that there's more, right? You're not gonna bring less to those, but you're gonna bring more to those because we do this, right? The
Yeah.
energy that we create. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't speak for you, but for me, the energy that I'm getting from doing this is making the other things that have been difficult and a struggle less difficult, less of a struggle, because I'm like, okay, I got this.
Yeah.
I've got a community. I've got a different purpose.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really I think the first step when you think of what we're doing here is we're helping to create awareness for people to go, hey, because it's challenging to grow. Like this being intentional, being living life with purpose is not simple, or it's not easy by any means. It's challenging, but it's so worth it. I think it's so much more rewarding than sitting in the just staying comfortable. One of the things that I've been very intentional with over the last couple of weeks, so I'm on my local school board, and I thought, okay, if I'm going to do this, my time is very valuable. And David, yours is the same. Like, we recognize our time is valuable. We have a lot of stuff going on in our lives. And so whatever we put our time to, we try to walk it out with intention and be very focused on it. And so for me, I've really thought over the last few weeks, okay, if I'm going to do this, if I'm going to give my time, I need to make it count. I need to really make it worth it. And so I have been very purposeful in going into all of our schools. We have 5 schools in my community, and I'm spending an entire day at each school. And what's been really fun is as I'm going in and I'm connecting with the teachers and I'm connecting with the staff, they're like, you're here all day? And I said, yeah, I am because I'm living with purpose and I've taken on this task of being on the school board and it matters to me. And so it was something that just for a few years I was like, yeah, yeah, I'm on the school board. I'm shifting it. I'm living with more purpose. I'm going, whatever I'm putting my time to, I need to make it worthwhile. And those are little things that we can begin to recognize of wherever I'm putting my time to, I'm going to be intentional with it. And the power of that is then we also begin to let things go that are not that important. And I think that's where we're shifting of even I look at before I started living with a lot of intention and really growing as a person, like really focusing on how can I grow, I would get angry a lot. I mean, just to be really honest, like I would be very explosive. Like you and I've talked about even with like just this explosive anger and some of it was definitely health. I needed to really work on my health and get that dialed in, which has been a game changer. My hormones are balanced, my gut health is amazing, game changer. But also, I've had to learn to be intentional with it. I've had to learn how to dial in on not exploding and why am I exploding? What's causing the anger and how can I handle it better? And I think all
Absolutely.
these things go back to shifting and changing, to really being becoming a different person and activating
Well,
our roar, which has sort of been our theme this week.
a- absolutely. And the roar is not so much pointed, right? It's not the roar that, of intensity of anger or aggression of I'm in your face roaring versus the I'm standing on the mountaintop roaring, right? They're both roar. One is very destructive and one is very constructive, right?
I like that.
I've focused my roar in the wrong dimension, right? That was these popping off over stuff that didn't matter. I'm intentionally working on putting my roar right here, right? Because I want my roar to be constructive. I want people to go, hey, this
Mm.
drum major is fun. Let's follow this. Ooh, he wants to march all day. Yeah, but what do we get to do when we get there? Right? We get to be better when we get there. Yeah, you're
Mm.
going to march all day. Your feet are going to hurt. Your ankles are going to get swollen and your butt cheeks are going to swell up. And you're going to go, oh my God, I don't want to go up another hill. But when we get to the top of the hill together, right?
Oh,
And we're up there and we're roaring from the top of the hill, you and I first, Alesha, and
yeah.
then the people that are joining our community, and then the people that are watching them as they grow, and then they join the community, whether it's directly with us or just through living the example of their people. This gentleman I was talking to, the people that you talk to, even our guests, we get the privilege of affecting some super cool people,
Yeah.
right? But we still get to, we had our show that's coming up next week when we were speaking with our friend Jen. And, the fact that she's participating in what we're doing, and this is a super special human being, right? And she appreciates this part. Now she's part of our roar, right? All
Mm.
of these people have become part of this standing on top of the mountain and being a beacon. Look at us, see us, share the light that is this journey.
Oh my goodness, David, I love that visual that you've created because I think that's exactly it's so powerful when I'm now picturing how all of us were living, roaring, or cowering in the midst of the chaos of things, in the midst of life, and just going, oh my goodness, and and roaring out in anger, frustration, and anxiety, being overwhelmed, depression, and all that, and just feeling life. And what we're challenging people to do is to get out of that and go to the top of the mountain and roar with what you were meant to roar with, to actually live with the purpose and intention that you were meant to live with. And we're calling everybody else to come with us. Like that is spectacular thinking of it. That I love that. That's powerful.
I I have this incredible vision of what this can be. And I truly believe that there is enough people, there is enough of the us, right? The us that wants different. I don't want every news outlet to only point out whatever their jargon of choice is, right? There's no truth, there's no honesty, there's no integrity. And I want to stand for a place where it's 100% truth, honesty, and integrity, because we're working on improving all of those things in ourselves every single day. And the more people that join this community, because I truly believe that we're hungry. I talk to these 20 something kids, and I share with them what we're doing and what we're talking about. And they're standing, I got these two kids last week standing in the loading dock at Lowe's, helping me put some materials in my truck, joining the Purposeful on YouTube and following and subscribing. And hey, oh my gosh, this is so cool. We love this, sir. Thank you for taking a moment talking to these kids. Just want to be seen,
I
right?
think all of us want, we are all craving purpose. I mean, it's at the core of every human being. And I think for a lot of us, life happens and it gets buried down further and further down because of experiences, because of different things that we go through. And so some people, it maybe it's going to take a little while to dig and find it, and to or be really ready in that moment, and to go, that's what's been stirring in me this whole time. But I've had all this other busyness of life. Or, I mean, for me, man, being a mom of five kids, now my kids are starting to get a little bit older, but now getting in the really busy, busy, busy stages of like athletics and school stuff. And now being a grandma, like it's just crazy, right? And so, I mean, this busyness, and I think we oftentimes either use the excuse of life has been really hard and I'm just surviving, or life is so busy and I'm just barely getting by. And we're hoping that people begin to realize it doesn't have to be that way. Like you talking
Well,
to those young 20-year-olds, it doesn't have to, like, we can do all of this, but live it with intention and be real in it. I mean, I think us saying, hey, gosh, I'm still working on, like, my son, one of my kids and I, we had massive, huge blowout a couple weeks ago. And, but I handled it differently than I handled it even a couple of years ago.
and
We're
improvement is
shifting.
good.
Yeah.
Right?
It's hard.
So I'm going to go a step further with the same thing.
Oh, go for it.
I'm going to say that our system, our educational system,
Mhm.
our media system anesthetizes
Mhm.
people by bombarding them with unrealistic stuff or agenda specific stuff, right? If you're left or right or whatever, we're not going to talk about any of that because it doesn't matter, because it effectively has the same thing, right? If it narrow minds you down, it changes your point of view, it stops you from being able to keep a healthy perspective. Then, the comfort of the same reruns and a beer is just comfortable, right?
Mhm.
And you go to work, you work really hard all day, regardless of if it's physical or mental. You go to the office, you go to the factory, you go to the fields, whatever it is, you come home And you don't want to have to think about all of this stuff that's so exhausting, right? There's no, I Love Lucy's over, right? You can't just watch something silly that just frees your brain of the anxiety for a few minutes and is just silly, right? Now silly's not okay with some segment of society anymore, and everything's got to be some kind of motivational this or message that, and depending on if you approve of the message or not, blah, 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 blah. If we stop, we shift our perspective, right?
Mm-hmm.
My perspective is I either choose to ingest this information in a healthy fashion and measure it and portion it and keep it somewhere that's healthy in here,
Mm-hmm.
or I choose to step back. Or, in our case, you and I think we both have chosen to go to more Christian outlets
Mm-hmm.
for our news and our entertainment, just because we're tired of having other people's agendas shoved on us.
Yeah.
So we shift our perspective by changing what we bring into our lives. And you need to filter as parents. We need to protect our wards, right?
Yeah.
And see to it that we're creating an atmosphere that we believe in our hearts is going to help breed purpose
Mm-hmm.
in our children, my employees, the people you coach, the people I mentor. If you and I lose our focus and we get caught up in whatever the latest news cycle is, then we're not focused on this purpose of living with intent on being healthier on these three levels that we keep talking
Yeah.
about.
So I want to then, so I think that is a very, very powerful perspective. That there's the people are living with all these intensities, right? I would also then say there's also then this numbness that's occurred in other groups of people where we literally like there's that, the group where I'm just gonna scroll mindlessly through TikTok and Facebook and not even think. Like
Zero
I
substance.
don't even want to focus on anything. I'm just gonna scroll. And I will admit, I get caught up in doing that too.
Absolutely.
But it's like what we've done is we've numbed it so we don't have to feel anything. Instead of like being in it, going, why am I feeling this way? Why do I have anxiety coming up in this moment? Or why am I angry over this? Like, this isn't even that big of a deal, but there's something going on. Instead, we just, oh, I'm just going to scroll through Facebook or TikTok and avoid it. And that's scary
Mindless.
too. I think, yeah, it's all mindless living. And so there's that group that we're trying to say also, you got to wake up. That's not living. That is not living. It's easy, but it's not a good easy. It's not, like the easy button. Let's just hit the easy button. I want to just numb out over here. It's not a good thing either, because I feel at the end of your life, you'll look back, go, I missed it. It's like I was sleeping through my whole life versus being intentional and being aware of things and really addressing things, learning to embrace the uncomfortable in the growth process. And so seeing both these groups and going, how can we help create this movement or this community? And what's really cool is we know that there's other people out there that are awakening up to this, right? Like it's not, we know it's not necessarily this new thought, but what we want to do is we want to bring people together and go, let's do it together.
Yeah.
And that's what's been really fun is we're beginning to reach out to people to come on the show and stuff that have the same thing going. I mean, like the gal that we have that will be our guest speaker for next week, what is occurring to her as she is just getting even more and more passionate on health and nutrition and the power of dialing that in and how that gives you the energy and the focus you need to walk out your purpose and to really
Absolutely.
live it. And it's just a cool thing as we begin to now go, oh, hey, you got that same purpose effect bug going on too. Let's get you in and let's really build this community. It's really cool to see how it's playing out. But yeah, my goal is to help people wake up from the mindless living because I feel like that's what I did for a very long time. Like I
And
was intentional in making an impact, but not like really.
right, well, we are in a time in our society where middle, everybody's looking for the middle,
Mhm.
right? Don't be too much of a standout, little Johnny. You're going to embarrass the little kid over there who's not a standout. Well, everybody's afraid of something. You know what I'm afraid of? I'm afraid that if we stop growing and we stop learning, that when this experience concludes, we will have missed the meat, right?
Yeah.
We all know how I love a good steak. I don't want to miss the meat. What?
Yes, you do. I love when you send me pictures of like these huge slabs of meat.
I get hungry. I'm hungry
It is.
now.
You can't beat that. I definitely
But
agree.
but the meat of life,
Yeah.
that that's what purpose combined with intent
Hmm.
multiplied by perspective, that's what puts meat in our life.
Yeah.
It gives you the energy to get up in the morning and spend that extra little bit of time praying and reading. It gives you that energy to stay at the school all day when all the other board members are unhealthy and they're busy and they're consumed and they're distracted, and they go down there for half an hour and they pat themselves on the back because they went to the school.
Yeah.
Whereas because of the life that we are choosing, you've impacted your health.
Mhm.
You've learned how to be better. None of us are perfect, but we're better, right? You've, from what I saw, you took a little lapse in your supplements and realized that that wasn't your best choice, huh, honey?
Bad choice. I felt
Wait,
it. I felt it.
wait until you're 60.
Oh,
You'll be
I'm never
jonesing
gonna go
for
off
your
them.
glow. It's like you'll arm wrestle for the bottom of that bottle.
I will not go without it. It's like, nope, nope. Let me tell you. So as we wrap up, I want to share just a powerful story because I think it just this life that I'm going to share it really shows how powerful one can live a life of intention. So, my sweet sister Molly, there are nine siblings in my family. There's six of us biological, and then there's three adopted younger ones. And so one of the younger adopted ones is my sweet sister Molly, which David, you've had the privilege of meeting. She
The
is turning
amazing Molly.
18. Yes, she's turning 18 on Sunday. So a huge shout out to you, Molly. Happy birthday.
Happy
But
birthday, honey.
she is the one that, as I've watched her, when my parents first were in the process of adopting her, they got her at 2 months old through the foster care system, and then they adopted her when she was one. Now, right before they adopted her, they did at that time, 18 years ago, they were doing all these like evaluations, like I don't know how it all worked, but they ran all these tests, and the tests came back, and they said, you know what? There's not much hope for this little one. Like she probably will need to be institutionalized. Like she's not going to be able to amount to much. So the deck was really stacked against her at not even 1 years old. And we as a family went in and said, we don't care. We love this little girl. Like she is spectacular. We are going to give her the best life. We're going to love on her, one never not really fully grasping at that time the impact she would have on our lives, right? So time goes on. She's just this amazing girl. She does have a lot of things that she's overcome, but she has very severe fetal alcohol syndrome. She has one called Kabuki syndrome that causes a lot of health issues, and many other different issues. But What's super cool, and I talk about her a lot because she, I think, is such a great example of how we need to live, right? So here she is, she's just turning 18. This girl, in the last couple of years, now mind you, she was not supposed to amount to anything in their standards, right? She has written her own song. She has produced her own song. Not only that, it's on Spotify. And having now worked on this back end to get this podcast on all these platforms, that's a pretty big deal because she did it when she was like 15. Um, and she did that. She has made a music video. She has done all these things and she just continues to impact people. And what I love is she lives in a way that she's very intentional in the day. Like she is so focused on the moment and being present. But yet, she's also mastered how to plan for the future. Like this girl, since she was like 10 years old, has talked about how she's going to go to college someday. I mean, she has her dorm room like laid out in what she wants. But she's planning for the future and yet she's living in today. And it just is such a powerful example. Today I had the absolute privilege. I had the Spearfish High School drumline where I live actually perform for Molly and surprise her.
Oh,
And did this big production drumline for her for to celebrate her birthday. And I share all of that to encourage all of you that you probably have somebody in your life that is either living with purpose and living with intention. And I want you to really look at them and go, okay, I want to be like that. Or you might have somebody that maybe everything's stacked against them. Or you might feel that way, that everything is stacked against you, that everything that comes back is you're not going to amount to anything. You're never going to succeed in life. And I want you to know that that does not have to define you. That does not have to be the label that you need to carry. Molly never let that label carry her. And she has gone not only beyond any expectations, but she continues to excel. And we can all do that. It's a choice. And we are helping to educate you guys on the power of choice and living with intention and purpose and all that good stuff. So that's my little, I just wanted to share that. And primarily because I wanted to shout out happy birthday, Molly.
well, I would also like to say happy birthday, Molly. I too have had the privilege of spending a little bit of time with Molly, and the exceptional joy that Molly brings with a glance and a smile is a gift that these people who said that some particular individual may or may not amount to much, then shame on them for not seeing that smile, because the joy that Molly brings to the situation wherever she is a gift. And we, what was it somebody said that I love very much? She said, God doesn't make mistakes.
Very true.
Molly is the perfect Molly.
Yeah.
And the beautiful thing about Molly is the lack of inhibitions, right? I mean,
Yeah.
she's just like, here I am. I love you.
This is me.
This is us. This is all
Yeah.
of us, all three of us right here that I
Yeah.
am me, us, and and
Yeah.
I got this going on. And that's something that we can all learn from,
Yeah.
right? Every single one of us has something to add to this community, to
Hmm.
this world, to the
Hmm.
family that we belong to the organization we work with, to the friends we interact with, to our families. We are uniquely us.
Yeah.
Everybody's purpose is valuable.
Hmm.
It doesn't have to be the same, right? I mean, you don't have to be a doctor to be the one who nurses your kid when they don't feel good, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter the training you have if you have the desire to be the best you can at what you do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a gift that Molly models and that we
Hmm.
could all really pay attention to,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you know, I can't tell you how many times I've looked up, God, why do you hate me? How can you do this to me? And then somebody pointed out to me, be careful what you ask for, because if you ask God for patience, he'll give you plenty of opportunities to learn how to be patient.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
I've learned now, I ask for conclusion of situations. I don't need patience. I need the situation to go away. Right. So,
Good point.
but I just want to reiterate so clearly that every single person who hears this or sees this firsthand or secondhand, you are valuable. You are special. We as a community need what you bring to the table.
Yeah. Yeah.
There is not anybody that does not belong at this table.
Yeah. It's powerful. Well, I think that's a great way to wrap this up. David, I always enjoy these Fridays. It just makes me smile as we get to come together and just talk things through and work out what we're going through and how are we living with purpose, but then also help bring our audience to do the same. And so next week, you guys, just a little teaser, like we've sort of thrown in throughout this podcast, we have an amazing speaker that's coming on Friday next week, and she is fabulous. You will learn so much, a lot of practical tools, especially as we're like in the thick of holidays and going into the new year of how to be healthy. And so David and I will also be talking about that on Monday and Wednesday of how to live a purposeful life with your health and what does that mean and how does that play out. So you do not want to miss next week. So with that being said, you guys, thank you for listening to The Purpose Effect. If today's episode spoke to you, share it with a friend, subscribe. Remember, we are all over the place: iTunes, Apple, Pandora, YouTube, all of those places. Just search up the Purpose Effect. Help us spread this movement of purpose driven living. And remember, you're called, you're capable, and you're created with intention. Now go and live it.